Good evening everybody and welcome. Well, I'm going to have to raise my voice because as you can hear the rain is falling. It's been raining now solidly for 24 hours here in Pennsylvania and it's very wet outside and surprisingly cool. Anyway, right now it's, my goodness me, it's 10:15 at night here, 6th of September. That's Tuesday, 6th of September. And I'm just up here in the studio and I'm just finishing off a few things. So I've actually got the glaze, some pots, and I just wanted to bring you in and show you some of the things that I've been decorating. So I just thought we'd talk a little bit about that. And actually today we had a bisque firing as well in the kiln over there, which is that finished a few hours ago. So it's cooling down, but it's still nice and warm in here. So I'm just going to bring the camera down here. We can just sort of natter away about what's going on down there. Yeah. So I've got under here some of those jugs that we did the other day, and I've just been experimenting, doing different things using the lemon zester, great tool, and of course the hacksaw blade. One thing you can do, I don't know if you can see this. You saw me putting the handles on these, but I don't know if you noticed, but can you see it's got like two ridges, or I should say it's got a spine? Well, when you're pulling that handle off the pot, you dig your fingernail in and pull down with the thumbnail, scraping all the way down, right the way down to the bottom. And then you do it the same on the other side, pulling and scraping with your fingernail, with your thumbnail. You need a bit of a thumbnail, by the way. So, if you're a nail biter, you better quit. Grow some nails. Okay, so that can give you that sort of that kind of finish like that. Just, you know, talking about the handle, because you can actually do some different sort of decorations on a handle. And one that you can do, and I'll do it for you now. Hang on, let me just I think we had the camera in the wrong position of focus. Just hang on a second. I had the front of my camera fall off and I had to so I've now not got it on at all. I think that's right, like that. Yeah, so now I'm going to put it, that should be more kind of focus for up close. So I'm going to select a, now you can't do this if the handle, let's get a bit of light pointing this way. You can't do this, what I'm going to show you right now on the handle here, if it's too hard, okay? One thing you can do is you can get the lemon zester, and if the handle is fairly flattish, you know, and not like the one I just showed you just a minute ago, but you can take the lemon zester and pull it all the way down like that. I'll show you one. I've got one I did here. Yeah, here's one. that as an example, you see, with the lemon zester, just pulling it down like that. Incidentally, you can see it's got a different decoration here on the side, which is again done with the lemon zester, but it's done sideways like that. I'm going to do one of those for you in a minute. Yeah, I was going to show you was this another kind of decoration here on the handle, and I actually use my thumbnail. So what you do is you stick your thumbnail in, and then you drag it back like that. Hope you can see what I'm doing. It's maybe a fraction on the dry side for doing this. I'm actually trying to get these dried off because I'm going to try and put them in some raw glaze and then put them on top of the hot bisque kiln over there. And I'm going to try to, well, I've done a very poor job of that one actually, not as I would have liked to have shown you, but here's a slightly better one. Can you see that one there? The one I've done here I've not done so well. As I say, it does, if you do it when the handle is too hard, it's difficult to dig in and then drag back with your thumbnail. If it's too hard, it feels like your thumbnail's being ripped out. So you don't want to do it. It's too hard. So, yeah. Now, using this tool, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this standing up. Let me just focus the camera. If I sit down, it might be more sensible. If I sit down there, let me just see if I can just... I hope. Thing is, I have to zoom the camera in and then go and sit there, you know, it's sort of like, can be a bit hit and miss as to whether I'm in the picture. Well, I hope I am. Okay. Wait a minute. Sorry about this. I'm going to come back. Yeah, I wanted you to see it, you see, you're not going to really see it if I'm sat 5 miles away. So I'm going to have to try and do it here in front of you. If I make a fool of myself, well, it's all in a good cause, you know. So basically with the lemon zester, I'm going to go down and then across and then down. A little bit hard. You can see that. I'm going to do the same over here on this side. So, down, across, and then down. So, that's those. I've got some other ones that I've already done that I'll show you rather than trying to rather than trying to do it, you know, and there's one which is a fairly lemon zester with the, and then with the flex with the end of the hacksaw blade on the corner edge. As you can see, I've also gone down the handle with that one as well. Okay, there's that one. There's one which is basically the same as what I've just been showing you, just a slightly smaller version. This is a diagonal lemon zesting. So is this one, two of those. So we've got some more as well. Hang on. This one is also with the lemon zester, you see. Basically starting here and then coming across and then up, and then doing it the reverse way. That's quite effective, isn't it, I think? And lastly, this one, which is basically the lemon zester but done in a squiggly way, not a zigzaggy way, and then with the flecking in between. So just some examples. I just wanted to show you, because these pots, what we're going to do now is we're going to I'm going to put them in some, dip them in raw glaze. So you might as well tag along. Why not indeed? So let's just get the focus back. Yeah, front bit of my camera fell off because these bits here, they fell off. They fell off the front of the lens. And in fact, the lens itself, this piece of here, went in front of the lens, but somehow I managed to get clay behind it. I don't know how. And so it wasn't looking... I've noticed that some of the recent video clips have been looking a bit murky, a bit milky. So I thought, I'll rip it off. It's actually looking a lot clearer right now. I don't know how it's looking to you anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over there around the other side, get the glaze bucket, bring it round, put it here. La la la. So there we are. Let's get the light facing that way a bit. So there we are. What we're going to do is we're going to give the glaze a good stir, of course. I'll bring these down a touch. Now when we're glazing these for once firing, as you can see, I hope you can see, it's slightly going slightly white. So I would describe it as sort of on the dry side of leather hard, you know. So let me just the thickness of this glaze is a bit like cream, runny cream, you know. Want to make sure you get the sediment up from the bottom, and then it's all mixed in, especially down in the corners, you know. All right, so let's just do a few of these. They're going to be double dipped. So there we are. Right, let's do the first one. You know, with raw ware, there's not a lot of dusting that you really need to do. These were only made a few days ago. You saw me putting the handles on them. They're now going to be dipped. Tomorrow they're going to be fired up to temperature, and that's it. So what we're going to do is going to dip down, I'm going to double dip, and I'm going to put it here. These have been sealed with my personal seal, and I've also put another seal on. I'm happy to say, says made. No, it's just a seal that says USA. I thought it's time we had things that are made in USA. They have a seal that says so. So USA, United States of America, not made in China. Support your local tradesmen. Now you can see how quick these are to glaze. After you've done a decoration in the clay, it might be a good idea just to make sure that the decoration is actually cleaned out, you know. Sometimes the clay bits, they stick there, and you actually want to get them out, because with this kind of glaze, it's a fairly thin glaze, so the clay, the nature of the clay, is going to break through the glaze. So you don't want any rough bits of clay there that are going to show through. So now the advantage of double dipping, of course, is that we get the glaze all over, inside and out. You'll notice my thumb is here on the bottom, and the bottom of the pot is completely clean. I don't get the bottoms dirty, okay? Are we in the picture? Yeah. Good. I'd hate to find out after I'd spent all this time nattering away talking to you and doing all this that, you know, we weren't in the picture. It'd be a bit sad, wouldn't it? I'm just looking for the ones that are a drier. So I'm holding it down. 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Double dip. Now occasionally, like I've just done, you will get a splash. I don't usually reckon to get much of that, but occasionally that does happen. Well, we are human, you know. If you're a bit too vigorous with it, sometimes you make a bit of splash, you see a bit extra splash. typically this kind of glaze, when you put it on, it looks, you think, oh, I've got loads of thickness there, loads of thickness. When it dries though, it doesn't seem to be anywhere near as thick. I've got a couple or three over here that look like they're ready. So now when they're at this stage, I can confidently pick them up by the handles, okay? I'm not worried that the handles are going to drop off. I wanted to show you this one. Can you see this one here has been thrown and it's got quite a lot of, I purposely, with the back end of the tool, I made these kind of ledges or ruts in it all the way around. That's because with this glaze, because it has a tendency to run and pool in certain areas, you know that it's going to run down and then it'll collect, you see, in these collecting areas and then overflow and then run down again. Can actually look quite nice. I'm going to give this one a good coat, a good amount of glaze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So there's not a lot of cleaning off, you see, to do now after these, because we don't. That's a slightly different decoration on that one. I've tried to be sort of just creative, you know, working with 3 or 4 different designs. Another one. You know, glazing raw ware is unlike glazing bisque ware, which... Oops, I'm seeing some cracking occurring. I'm seeing some cracking occurring. Why is that cracking like that? I wonder why that's cracking. Maybe they were slightly too dry on the top, you see. I'm very much learning this raw glazing is not something, you see, that I grew up with learning how to do, really. Everything we had in the pottery was bisqued, and seeing these crack here. Let's bring in the camera. I want to show you what's going on. Let me just see if we can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Can you see that crack there? Just by the handle? Another one there. Look, another one there. Just beginning, that one. Yeah. Would you believe it? Look at that. I can see light through. I can see light through that crack. Whew. Okay, I'm not going to do any more right now because I'm now thinking, hold back, don't commit. Don't commit and put all your eggs in one basket and then find they all crack. That's a pain. That is a pain. I don't get why it's doing that. I was only done it on 3. But I don't get why it's done it. See, the pot has become very, very soft here. It's almost like a thrown pot, you know, that's just come off the wheel. It's soft. The glaze completely softens the pot. I think I'm going to do another one. These ones weren't so dry, maybe they're better to do. I think that I've got more to learn about raw glazing. Well, folks, yes. Head scratching time. Do you ever do that? Scratch your head? We do that as potters, don't we? You know, when things go wrong in the pottery, and you come up against something like that, or something you've done resulted in something going drastically wrong in the kiln. It's head scratching time, isn't it? You think, well, why is it doing that? And there's usually always an explanation as to why something happens. Always very logical. So, if you ask the right questions, you get the right answers, and then you'll be able to make the necessary corrections and learn and move on. You know, that's what it's all about. Well, that's what the keep practicing philosophy is all about, isn't it? Don't give up, and learn from your mistakes. I'll drink to that. Cheers. Yeah, so this weekend I'm going to be at the Peters Valley Craft Centre over in New Jersey, where I'm doing a workshop. So looking forward to that, going over there for a couple of days. We're about a dozen of us, I think, and that'll be fun. So, until the next time, hope I'll have some answers for you about what's going on here. Answers for myself, first and foremost. And, yeah. What happens is, you see, I think the pot, it can take on too much water. And when if you do it just at the wrong stage, when it's too dry, it'll take on too much water, and it expands. The clay expands outwards, you know, because of the water intake, and then it can a fissure can occur, and it opens. That's what I'm thinking at the moment. Anyway, well, take care, keep practicing. See you soon. Bye bye.